I'm interacting with both sides of the coin here, advisors and business owners. I can't tell you how many times I've heard a business owner say, I've worked with my CPA and my attorney. I've asked questions about how to build a growth and succession and transition strategy, but I'm not getting any forward thinking advice. They're only answering the questions that I'm asking. And I think what is so valuable as an advisor to be able to move to and to become, which is essentially the core of the ISPA tools and resources and structure, is how to be a creative problem solver. That is one of the I think the biggest value adds that an advisor can provide a business owner is understanding their environment. And even though they're not in a position to be able to answer that question or be the expert for that issue, their value to that owner is to okay, I see this issue. Let me learn more about it. Let me creatively think about it, and then be the connector to other strategic relationships. That's another big thing that I hear from advisors who are moving from being a CPA into wanting to be a succession planner, or moving from an attorney to be a succession planner. I'm not comfortable dealing with family dynamics or people issues. How am I going to be able to facilitate that if that comes up in these conversations? All you need to be is a empathetic, creative problem solver. The business owner can rely on you to come up with ideas and come up with solutions, whether that is outside your strategic network or with what you can deliver yourself. And I think that is what's so huge about the transition from being a technician, a CPA, a assets under management person, of just doing this one thing, to growing into being a broader problem solver for your clients.
Yeah. And and especially as you start to, I was just remembering in a session we talked about, selling to different levels of people. If you're selling to like a tactician, like somebody at the bottom level, and you start talking about product, you start talking about your offer, very quickly, you guys are going to run into, well, we don't have the budget for that. That's not how it's going to work. And you're going to get just bombarded with objections. As you move up the ladder, it doesn't matter what your offer is. The more value, the more of that, relationship that you're bringing, the more that you can bring insights, the better. So for me, if somebody calls me or messages me and say, hey, how much would it cost to have you do this? I'll never say any kind of price there. I'm like, cool, here's what we're going to talk about. This is what we need to cover. This is what I'm really good at. We can uncover this. A lot of times people find these things. So once we know that, then we'll have a better idea of what we can do. And I always think, like, in half an hour session with me, I can show somebody so many opportunities. If I can't help somebody get an aha in half an hour, I'll buy them a steak dinner. I know the value of what I'm bringing to the table in a meeting, so that I don't have to worry about what the value of the offer is, right? It's really the same thing for you guys. You've got tons of experience, tons of insights in your market. How do you sell who you are and what you're bringing to the table? I caught a glimpse of it, but we're bringing to the table so that you can help your customer move forward. Let's go. I see Stump Joe. I just saw that. Okay. So here's some examples, some brand to customer statements. So think about this. I prioritize empathy. So I'm going to help understand your unique needs and pain points before I suggest a solution. I'm going to make sure I'm very careful, not pre-prescribing. And so that we're going to make sure we tailor something. We're going to use best practices, but we're going to tailor something. That's where your empathy skill comes in. If your strength is problem solving, I'm going to make sure that we're going to dig into when things are really challenging. Okay. I'm going to make sure that we figure it out. I'm not going to just go, okay, well, let's just solve this surface problem, right? I'm being reliable, which means you're not going to chase me down. I'm going to make sure we get things done, and I'm going to be proactive in what we do. And things like creativity, I'm going to offer ideas and insights. This is one that I love knowing, because I work with all sorts of industries, all sorts of people. And the more that you can connect the dots across multiple channels, the more value that you're going to offer. So hidden risks, opportunities, the more you do this, the more you have these conversations, the more value you're going to bring. And I love it. Bring it on. Bring some stumps for me. Another one here we talk about is team branding. Team branding is a big one, because I think often we're challenged on talking about ourselves. So when you're working with your team, so maybe it's yourself, maybe it's your strategic network, maybe it's people that you work with, your boss, people that work for you, whoever it is, people on your team. Think about, this is what I value, but I've got a team of people around me that this is why they're awesome. When we get our hands on our clients, here's what we're able to do. We have shared values, shared visions, and we can now start to talk. You're mentioning this thing. I've got a guy or I've got a girl who's an expert in this area. I want to bring them in on this conversation. And then by going first, right? You go first. By going first, that allows us to say, I'm going to bring my guy on or my girl that's a specialist in this. Do you have anybody that would be in this area? Cool. And now you're accessing more people into the discussion. The more involved in the discussion, more you're going to